In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a quick game and start logging stats right away. All right, so tap on select home team. And let's say this is a fresh install, so you won't have any teams to select from. So tap on new team and just follow the on-screen prompts. So we'll enter a team name here, Sharks, for example. Right, next screen here, we want to enter a unique email address for our team. And email addresses are used in the system to differentiate teams. So let's say we have two teams named Sharks, then this is a way to differentiate the two teams. And if you don't want to enter a real email address, you can just, for example, do sharks@example.com. All right. But again, just note that this is how the system will uniquely identify the team. So if you want to keep stats for a team in a long duration, I would recommend using a real email address. All right, on the next screen here, we're going to enter a home location. So let's say the Sharks play at a field called, let's say, I don't know, Oak Point Rec. All right, click next and select the team colors. So let's say blue for ocean water Sharks. Next, select a logo. This is optional, of course, along with the location that was optional. So we'll select a logo here for Sharks. Click next. Divisions is something more advanced, so we'll leave that for the future. And just click submit. And there you go. We have our new team called Sharks. Just tap on it to select the team for our home team. And as you can see here, we have players automatically created for us. And we're going to edit them pretty soon after we select the away team. So just follow the same steps for the away team. So we will do, let's see here, Tigers for the away team. Enter in a unique email address. All right, and again, I recommend a real email address. We don't store it on a server, we don't share it. This is for pretty much, again, uniquely identifying the team in the system. All right. And home location, let's just leave it empty. We don't have to fill that in. And let's say red Tigers. Next, select the logo. And let's see here. Oh, we have a Tigers logo there. Next, and leave the division empty for now. And there you go. Tap on the Tigers team to select it for the away team. And we're pretty much ready to start the game if we want, but let's edit some of the player names. So to do that, swipe from right to left. Yep, right to left on the team name. Tap on the roster icon here. And on this menu, you can quickly enter in the first name, last name, number, and position of each player. And this is, again, usually only done when you have a new team. Let's say, for example, on a new team, it will have, let's say, 15 players created by default. And once you edit the player names, pretty much it locks in that player. You don't want to re-edit the same player, or else their stats will be, let's say, tied to a different user if you do that. All right, so this is a one-time edit for a new team. Let's say you're manually creating a team as shown here. And let's just create some, or let's just enter in some fictitious players here. So for example, Bob Smith. All right, position, let's make him a point guard. Next person here, let's make number 3, just leave it that. Chris Williams. All right, Williams, not Williams. Williams. I can type here. All right, let's make him a shooting guard. All right, so I'm not going to do all the players for now, but let's just say we update that. Tap on update. And it's going to give you this warning here because, again, you want to be careful in the future when you're editing players on your roster. If you edit a current player, you're not actually changing the player, but you're going to actually change the name of the player while the stats will be still tied to that player. All right, so this warning message is pretty much just saying that. So since these are brand new players, we're safe. So just put OK here, confirm, and OK for Chris Williams as well. All right, confirm, and there you go. So we have number 23 Smith, number 3 Williams. All right, that we just entered. So let's go back into that menu again just to look. And as you can see here, Chris Williams and Bob Smith, the input dialogues went away. They were locked in now. So you can actually edit them if you want by tapping on this right icon here. And again, if you edit them, then you're actually just changing the information of the current player. All right, so you would only want to do that, let's say, if you made a typo. So let's say not Chris, but let's say Christopher. All right, so we're actually not changing the player, but we're just, let's say, fixing some player information. All right, so let's just cancel because we don't want to change them. But let's say if the player still has the input fields available, then they're considered, let's say, still brand new players that you can enter in information. All right, so that's just too many players for me to enter in for the roster now. So let's just leave that at the default. For the Tigers, let's just enter in 1 or 2 players. So let's do number 20, Stephen Curry. All right, let's make him a shooting guard. All right, and then number 24. All right, let's do Tom Willis. All right, and let's enter one more for fun. All right, so number 12, John Deere. All right, update. Okay, okay, and okay. And again, these warning messages is just to really make sure that you understand what you're doing. So when you edit a current player, okay, you're just changing the information of that player, but you're not actually changing the player to a different player. All right. If you wanted to add, let's say, a brand new player, you would go down here and tap on the plus icon. And that would, if you saw here, it added player number 16 here. And player number 16 is a brand new player, so you can, let's say, enter information for player number 16 here. All right. And again, when you create a new team, by default, it's gonna, this is just for convenience. It automatically creates all these default players for you, so you don't have to go into this plus icon and enter in 15 players yourself. It will automatically create that. So let's just say you want to start a game right away and not have to deal with adding all these players. That's the point of that convenience. All right. So let's say you've added your team, edited all your players. Okay. Next thing you would do is just click Start New Game. All right. And now, okay, you saw that Start New Game button turn into this Substitute button. And that's how you know you're in the actual game now. All right. And you can start taking stats. And let's just jump straight to that. Or actually, if you tap on the scoreboard here, all right, you have timer controls for your game clock, shot clock, possession arrow here, calling timeouts, editing the time of the game if you need. All right, if you used our other products, okay, this is just the interface of the BT Basketball Controller remote. All right, if you look on the screen here, all right, on the right is the BT Basketball Assistant. All right, and that has your timer controls. So you can actually, let's say, start the time directly in the BT Stats application. But for one user to manage the time, the stats, shot clock, everything, that's just probably too much stuff to do at one time. So we would recommend that you pair the BT Basketball Stats application with a BT Basketball Assistant application as shown on the screen here on the bottom right. Okay, but for the purpose of this tutorial, let's just click Start to start the timer. We'll enter pre-game first, so pre-game warm-ups. And let's see here. Actually, I didn't pair to the camera or the other things first, so let's just do that real quick. Not the point of this tutorial, but let's pair to our camera, our, let's say, BT Basketball Assistant on the bottom right. We have our scoreboards on the top left and on the top right there. And in the middle two devices, we have two more BT Basketball Assistants that will allow us to do multi-user stat keeping. Okay, so if you ever stat kept in a game before, sometimes basketball just moves too fast. And for one user to keep track of both teams, offense and defense, it might be too much. So BT Basketball Stats allows you to pair to multiple BT Basketball Stats so that you can have multiple users help keeping stats. All right, so let's just pair to each of the devices here. And I'm going to pair to the camera first. All right. And as you can see there, the neat thing here is it automatically transfers the logos onto the camera application. All right. If you can kind of see there, I know the focus there is a bit off. So it was hard to focus everything on the screen at the same time, scoreboard and everything else. But the logos were transferred along with the team names. All right, and next let's just connect to the scoreboards. All right, so that's our top left scoreboard. Again, logos automatically transferred. Let's connect to the right scoreboard here. And these are, the top two there are the same application. They are the BT Basketball Scoreboard applications. All right, and when you download that scoreboard application, you can change between different styles. So on the left there, we have a more modern scoreboard style with team logos. All right, on the right here, it's the same application, but we just switched to a different style. And this style is showing both teams, all right, the players for both teams and the more detailed stats, along with the summary of the team's performance on the right there with the points and percentages. All right, and this is pretty nifty. You might see it in this tutorial and future tutorials, but this is some live stats happening here. As we keep track of the stats, it's going to live update these stats onto the scoreboard and the camera with some nice camera stat overlays as well. Okay, so to finish off, let's connect to our statisticians here, or stat applications, and we have to accept the prompt there. All right, and connect to the other basketball stats application. Accept the prompt. All right, and then finally connect to our BT Basketball Assistant that will allow us to help manage the time and the shot clock. All right, and again, all right, so if you are using the BT Basketball Stats application, you can use it just by itself. All right, if you just care about keeping stats and box scores for your teams and players in the league. And all these different other applications that I'm pairing to are optional add-ons, all right? So if you want to make your league, let's say, feel professional, then you can optionally add on these pieces individually or all of them as shown here, or even more, okay? Some other nifty setups I may show in the future. But again, you can just use the one application by itself just for stat keeping if that's all you want. All right. So again, the point of this tutorial is just to show you how to start a quick game. All right, how to create a quick game, create teams, players real quick, and just start logging stats. All right, so we hit that, if you recall, we hit that start new game button after selecting our teams. So now we're in the game. All right, or actually, let's go to the first quarter. All right, and let's just stop the shot clock there. And let's say we're in the first quarter here. Again, let's say these timer controls, you would want, for convenience, a BT Basketball Assistant to help control the timers there for you. And let's start keeping some stats. All right, so stats is pretty easy. All right, you just tap on a player. So let's say number 23, Smith, scores a field goal. All right, just tap on the player name and the stat you want to keep. It's as simple as that. All right, let's say number 12, Deer, misses a three-pointer. All right, and let's say number 20, Curry, does an offensive rebound. All right, and then number 20, Curry, hits a three-pointer. Okay, so if you're looking on the scoreboard here, those stats, as I mentioned, are updating live there. So we have Sharks with 2 points, 100% field goal percentage. We have Tigers with 3 points with that Curry 3 at 50% here with a rebound, as you can see on the bottom right there, on the scoreboard that is. And of course, synchronized on the scoreboard on the left there with the team logos. And it's that easy, all right? And you can actually go in reverse. So let's say you hit the stat first. So let's say you hit the steal stat first, and then you could select the player after. All right, so Chris Williams has a steal, and then click the stat first. And then let's say number 23, Smith, hits the three-pointer. All right, because in a real game, again, things are going quick. Sometimes the brain just overloads. You don't know if you're going to click the stat first or the player first. Well, the option is there. You can click either one first and then select the second option after. All right, and I'm going to show an example here. So let's say if you accidentally entered a stat wrong, you can go to the game log on the bottom left here. All right, so let's say Bob Smith, let's say that wasn't him that scored the three. We can tap on that specific stat and click delete. And yes, and as you can see here, all right, on our scoreboards, there you go, it updates, subtracts 3, so now it's actually 2, back to 2. And let's say we want to, or let's put that 3 back just for example here. So let's say player 1 scored the three-pointer, not number 23, Smith. All right, so one way to change a stat is to delete the stat and re-add the stat. Another way to change the stat is just to replace the current stat. And in order to do that, all right, tap on that right icon again and click edit instead of delete. If you click edit, now you can see highlighted in yellow on the top is the stat you want to edit. So let's say it wasn't player number 1 that scored the three-pointer, maybe it was player number 5, all right? So we can change it to player number 5, go back to the game log, and now you could see that it was player number 5 that scored the 3, not player number 1. All right, and if you look closely here on each of the players, you will have the live stats for each player with the kind of blackish, grayish label there on the bottom right of each player. So the person keeping stats can see a live view of the player stats in case they need to correct some stats or just want to make sure they're up to date. All right, as well as for the teams. All right, and conveniently, if a player fouls out, that will be also shown. So let's say player 5 here is fouling a lot. So let's just foul player number 5 out real quick, just so we can see the example of that. So just gonna give him some fouls here. We're looking on the scoreboard. Conveniently, fouls are on the scoreboard now as well for the spectators as well as the referees and teams to know when they should be subbing players out if they're in foul trouble. And let's just foul out player number 5. So as you can see on the stat app itself, that those labels, the blackish labels, turns red now to conveniently tell you that player number 5 has fouled out. And if you look on the scoreboard, you have player number 5 highlighted in red, or the font changes to a red color. And as well, synchronized on all these other applications, you will see it as well, or the stat applications to be specific. And let's say he fouled out, so now we have to take him out of the game. And here I'll show you how to do substitutions. All right, so we can swipe from right to left on a player name, tap on this refresh looking icon or change icon. All right, tap on that and you can select the player you want to sub in. All right, and these player names don't look very, let's say, pretty right now because they're the default player names earlier, or the initials of the default players. For example, the names were Shark player number 10. All right, so that's what you're looking at here are the players that you can sub in that are on the bench. So let's select player number 8. All right, and let's sub in some other players as well. So let's sub in player number 15, and let's sub in player number 12. All right, for Sharks, and let's do some subs for Tigers as well. Swipe from right to left. Okay, select number 11, and let's select number 7. All right, so once you select the players you want to sub in, or let's say you're the stat keeper, you'll be looking at the scores table for who is subbing into the game. You can select the players in a batch. All right, and once that batch is ready, click on or tap on substitute, and that will change out the players. So you would see that on the stat application that changes them out, as well as on the scoreboard, the optional scoreboard if you have one. All right, and that's how you do substitutions. All right, so it's pretty much as simple as that. Pretty much as simple as that. Tap on the player, tap on the stat. Other team, tap on player, tap on the stat. All right, 3-pointer for Stephen Curry again. Stephen Curry, that is. And just thinking about, is there anything else I want to show before I wrap this up? So let's say you finish the game. All right, then you're going to tap on the top right here and exit game. Tap on exit game. And it's going to ask you if you want to reset the scoreboard. Yes. And the next prompt here is going to ask you if you want to mark the game as completed. So this is important, that if you say yes, it's going to start calculating the stats for this game into your season stats. All right, if you click no, then let's say the game wasn't finished yet, so you don't want to calculate the stats into the season yet, then you would tap no. But let's just tap on yes. Let's just say this game is complete. All right, and that's going to apply the stats for this game to the season. All right, and again, the point of this tutorial, this tutorial was just to show how to create a quick game, but I'm just going to go over a little bit more. Tap on the top right here, and if you tap on games, you can see the game that just happened. You can tap into the game, all right, and you can see the box scores. See the box scores of the game for each player, just, you know, the normal box scores you would see. on any sports website. In addition to, let's say, the team's performance, total points, percentages, whatnot that you saw or see on the scoreboard there, or saw on the scoreboard there. All right, that's all in there for the game. Okay. And conveniently here, we can share the box score as a PDF. You can email it to players and teams right away after a game. And that is real convenient because I know after a basketball game, I want to see my stats right away. Okay, so you can click on or tap on share PDF. You can also export the game as a CSV file that you can open in programs like Excel or Google Sheets. And let's say you can manually edit the box score after a game if needed. And also you can import in, let's say, box scores with the CSV format as well. Let's say after you edit it, then you can re-import it. And that is useful. Let's say if you have multiple games going on in a gym, and after you want to combine all those stats into, let's say, one phone, then you can import those CSVs into the, let's say, the main phone that you want to keep all the season stats on. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. If you tap on the players tab there, you will see the updated season stats for all the players. Leading scorer here, Stephen Curry. All right. And tap on teams, and you will see the teams here ranked. So Sharks is number 1 now in the league with 1 win, 0 losses, and Tigers with 0 wins and 1 loss. Scroll to the right and you can see the total points scored in the season, and that will help rank the team. So if 2 teams have the same win-loss ratio, then it will rank next based on the points. And finally, we have backup snapshots, and this is great for creating backups of your data in case, let's say, you mess something up and you want to undo it, then you can restore a previous snapshot. Okay. And again, all the data in this app is stored locally on the phone, and it is transferred peer-to-peer to other, let's say, BT Basketball Stats applications. So the data is transferred peer-to-peer, stored on the phone, and it's not stored on, let's say, a server. Okay, just to be clear. So you want to do often backups, email yourself the backup file, and you can restore your data if you have those backup files. All right, so today I just wanted to go over how to create a quick game. We went into a little bit more details, but that should give you a good introduction to the BT Basketball Stats application. That is our new application that you can use by itself, all right, to keep stats and share box scores, or you can pair it to our BT Basketball scoreboards, our BT Basketball cameras, and our BT Basketball assistant to have a full-fledged professional basketball system. All right, so I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and see you next time.